have you ever looked at someone and thought, man, their face just gives away all their secrets? Well, welcome to this explainer. Today, we're opening up a completely fascinating traditional text that makes a pretty bold claim. It argues that our deepest habits, our secret thoughts, and our true inner nature are quite literally stamped right onto our physical faces. We're going to impartially explore this historic concept of physiognomy. Now, this isn't about us judging people. Instead, we're just unpacking how this specific source material maps out the human face, basically acting like a visual dictionary for personality. It's a highly structured, incredibly detailed system, and we're going to break the whole thing down piece by piece. Okay, let's just dive right in. The source material opens up with this absolutely powerful idea. It suggests that our inner nature creates this visible aura that's so potent you don't even need to be an expert to spot it. The text argues that even an innocent child can instantly perceive the peace radiating from a saint or the cruelty coming off of someone with a wicked character. It paints this vivid picture that character isn't just some abstract idea. It's a physical, observable reality that changes the very atmosphere around a person.
But, how is this supposedly happening? Well, before we look at specific facial features, we really need to understand the core mechanic described here. According to the source, thoughts and habits, they aren't invisible. If you hold on to a chronic mental state, the text claims it slowly begins to manifest as a permanent physical marker on your body. It specifically notes that while new habits might create faint signs, they only become truly visible to the naked eye after they're old and deeply ingrained. Just imagine your daily stress, your absolute joys, or even your deceit slowly sculpting your physical face over time, kind of like water carving out a canyon.
All right, let's start right at the top. Section 1. Reading the forehead and temples.
According to the text, the literal shape of your temples and the width of your forehead reveal your baseline confidence and your intellectual capacity. So if someone has flat temples, the source identifies them as deeply self-confident and highly self-reliant. This is someone who trusts themselves implicitly. On the other hand, if a person has bulging temples combined with a broad forehead, the text categorizes them as highly studious, a very quick learner, and someone with this inherent deep-seated interest in reading and acquiring knowledge.
Now here's where the text introduces some really fascinating nuance. Generally speaking, it says a narrow, shrunken forehead implies a lower level of intelligence. But wait, the source makes a very specific exception. If that narrow forehead has prominent wrinkles or deep lines etched across it, the entire meaning flips, literally. Despite the smaller size of the forehead, those lines are interpreted as the physical marks of a sharp, highly intelligent individual.
And just as a final warning for this upper region of the face, the text outlines a major red flag. It claims that sunken, deeply depressed temples indicate a base or lower moral character. It's really a stark reminder of the text's core thesis, right? That negative internal traits literally hollow out or deform the physical structure of the face over a lifetime.
Moving right along down the face, we hit Section 2, the shape of the eyes and eyelids.
The source draws a really sharp behavioral contrast based strictly on the distance between the eyes. Wide-set eyes, according to the text, this person is truthful, loving, and wonderfully simple. But actually be careful. It warns that if they're spaced way too far apart, that crosses over into foolishness. Conversely, eyes that are positioned super close together are branded as the mark of a cunning, deceitful, and tricky personality. The physical spacing is quite literally treated as a ruler for measuring someone's honesty.
And this traditional analysis doesn't stop at the eyeballs themselves. No, it evaluates the eyelids. Small eyelids are associated with wicked or immoral behavior. Long eyelids uniquely point to a love of poetry and the arts, which is wonderfully specific. Thick eyelids means strict honesty. And thin eyelids, those are read as the ultimate sign of a sharp, piercing intellect.
Next up, on the periphery, Section 3. Eyebrows and ears.
Just like eye spacing, the spacing of the eyebrows is said to tell two completely different stories about a person's ambitions. Open, widely separated eyebrows indicate a restless spirit and someone with a really strong desire for power. On the flip side, eyebrows that meet right in the middle, joined eyebrows or a unibrow, are interpreted by the source as belonging to a passionate lover of the arts. The text also lays out a super clear rubric for ears, claiming their shape and size dictate a massive range of traits, from your lifespan all the way to your level of empathy. Big ears are highly favorable. They denote a gentlemanly character and predict a long life. So, good news if you've got big ears. Long ears, however, are a warning sign of an argumentative, quarrelsome nature. Small ears are tied to selfishness, and crooked or misshapen ears are stated to be the visible mark of foolishness.
Let's pull back to the center of the face. Section 4. Decoding the nose.
This text assigns incredibly distinct behavioral traits to highly specific nasal structures. So, a springy, slightly rounded root means firm, resolute thoughts. A long nose that turns up at the tip marks a thoughtful, studious researcher. A bent-down tip? That's someone who is skilled, clever, and cheerful. But it also dictates financial traits. A short or flat nose means extreme self-reliance, while a thick nose is directly correlated in the text with wealth.
Furthermore, the source material zooms right in on the nostrils themselves, reading them as a potent financial indicator. According to the text, individuals with wide nostrils are basically guaranteed a comfortable life. It claims these folks will not face starvation, severe hardship, or the kind of grinding suffering that others might. The physical width of the nostril is directly equated to the width of their future prosperity. Kind of wild, right?
Finally, bringing us down to the bottom of the face, Section 5, Lips and Hidden Traits.
A contained, even mouth is described in the source as the physical mark of a measured, pleasant communicator. If someone has small lips that meet perfectly evenly, without either the top or bottom protruding forward, well, the text states this is a serious, sweet-spoken person who measures their words very carefully and speaks very little. It's essentially the physical embodiment of quiet contemplation.
Conversely, the text argues that the wider the mouth and the longer the lips, the more frivolous, light-hearted, and joke-loving the person is guaranteed to be. It's like their face literally stretches to accommodate their expansive, playful personality. But if you look specifically at the upper lip and see a nice, rounded shape, the text notes this as a simple, standalone indicator of a generally beautiful, pleasant inner nature.
So, what's the jackpot, according to this source? Well, the crucial point here is how the text combines these features for its highest praise. It highlights a very specific combo, an upper lip that is not only rounded, but also thick. According to this traditional analysis, this exact physical trait is the absolute, undeniable marker of a fundamentally good, highly moral, and excellent character.
But what if there's a mismatch? The text is equally specific about that. A disparity in lip thickness, specifically a thin upper lip paired with a thick lower lip, is interpreted as a strict, visible sign of strong, earthly, and sensual desires. The text categorizes this specific imbalance as the mark of a highly lustful, worldly, and pleasure-seeking nature. So we've just walked through an incredibly detailed historical map of the human face, where literally every millimeter of the temples, the eyelids, and the lips supposedly broadcasts our deepest secrets to the world. While we've objectively outlined the claims of this traditional source today, it definitely leaves us with a provocative new lens, doesn't it? Think about it for a second. Next time you sit across from someone completely new, what are you going to notice first? Are you going to find yourself glancing at the spacing of their eyes, or maybe checking the thickness of their upper lip? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep observing the fascinating world around you.